Vaurapava Ruskin's in, a lover of the Scrum machine, as Eddie Jones picks his autumn international squad. The build-up to the Rugby World Cup really has begun. And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. So let's go through this squad. Eddie Jones's Autumn Nation series, 36 players, taking a bit from the press release, which I get, which is great. Owen Farrell, Courtney Laws, looking like they're going to go to 100 caps. On the side there, I've put all the players in there and put them in the positions that I think they're going to feature, just to make it easier for you and me to react to analyse. But yeah, I really like the organisation of the fixtures, as I've said before in videos. It really mimics how they're going to go into the World Cup. Argentina, then Japan, mimics their pool. Then they might face New Zealand, South Africa later on. So I really like how they've done it, to be fair. The actual squad itself, I like some of the inclusions. I don't like some of the exclusions, but we'll go through that for sure. And once they get in the build-up, they go to Jersey for a little bit, do a bit of the Japanese massage activity, which Eddie Jones is like. Then they're going to go back to Pennyhill Park. So, a bit of a preparation for the World Cup, bit of a run-through of the World Cup preparations there. Let's have a look at the squad. 4 loose heads as I see them, and only 2 tight heads. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Let me know if someone plays both sides of the scrum, but I'm guessing when Will Stewart's fit, he would come back in anyway. So Eddie Jones wants to look more at the loose head. Ellis Genge, been playing fantastically well for Bristol Bears, which is great. Vaurapava Ruskin, yep, he is in. He's 30 years old. He's not a spring chicken, but goodness me, he's playing well at the moment. Strong as an ox, scoring tries for fun. He's got a chance. Bevan Rodd, we know he's decent around the park. Plenty of you guys say you haven't seen him international quality yet for sale. Yep, true, but he's young. Can he prove himself? And then an experienced player in Mako Vunipola is in, playing very solid for Saracens. No Joe Marler, I think, he's one of those players who's break glass in case of emergency. He would play in a World Cup if needed, but again, I don't think he's particularly in the picture at the moment. Hookers, we've had some injuries. Luke Cowan-Dickey's there as the senior hooker for sure, 37 caps. But then we've got 2 guys, one uncapped in George McGuigan, and Jamie George, who's out injured, is actually quite a similar player to George McGuigan in build, physicality, but also they're really quality set piece, the ability to control a game, really good technical hookers. So I can actually see George McGuigan even starting a game and Cowan-Dickey coming on. Jack Singleton's probably got the most ground to make up. Looking at the tight heads, there are only 2. Joe Hayes is surely going to get some game time now with Stewart injured. Let's see if he's good enough. Kyle Sinclair, I hadn't seen a lot until the last game for Bristol, which is good. So it was a bit more like it then. So hopefully he's coming back into form, because it looks like he's going to start. Second rows, I see 4 out-and-out second rows there. Johnny Hill, of course. Mara Itoje is fit. I wasn't sure if he was, but he is fit, so that's great news. Then 2 guys really fighting for their places. Dave Ribbons has performed consistently well for Northampton for a long time, so deserves his shot, but hasn't really had any game time. He's been in squads before. Hugh Tizard may well leapfrog him. He's got a huge amount of ability. Big, strong guy, youngster for Saracens now. He may well appear on the bench at some point. I've put Alex Coles into the back row, although he could play second row. I see him kind of mimicking a Courtney Laws. I could see, certainly Jones wanting someone to cover Courtney Laws and offer the same sort of physical line out and height ability. So yeah, I think that's what he's doing there. Without the likes of Kenningham in and some other youngsters in, Pearson in, is Coles, I think, has the physical mimic of Courtney Laws that gets him in. Tom Curry playing well for Sale still, which is great. Lewis Ludlam has been doing really well for Northampton, more of a utility back row, I would say, at the moment. Sam Simmons, great news. He's come back fit at the right time. I think he's getting back into form. Very explosive, particularly off the bench. I'm not sure he's going to particularly start, but certainly on the bench, really good impact. Billy's going to start, I'm pretty sure, because we've got no Dom Brandt still, which is a massive shame. Tom Brandt is our best 8, but we really haven't seen him for England that much. But Billy's been solid, and Jack Willis has been playing great for Wasps. Unlucky for Ben Earl. Definitely think, there could have been a space for him. But Jack Willis, very similar to Tom Curry, hard as nails, gets stuck in at the breakdown. In the backs, we see 3 scrum halves, which is great, although one of the scrum halves I wanted to see was Mitchell. Goodness me, what has he got to do? Ben Youngs is in there as kind of the pseudo-coach role, 117 caps. I don't know if they need him now. He's a good player, but is he as good as Van Poortvliet and Mitchell? I don't think so. Quirk's just come back. Talk about an impact 9, that express pace in attack and defence, got a big tackle on him, like him a lot, so hopefully he can stay fit and get on the park. 2 fly halves, Farrell and Smith, very interesting to see how they play. Does Smith play 10 and Farrell play 12 again? I think that's very possible considering there's only 3 centres as I see them out and out. One of them is Will Joseph, who's very inexperienced, but I like him a lot. But very inexperienced. Guy Porter hasn't proved himself. Does he play 12 or 13? Tuolangi, can he stay fit? Either they can try and put him at 13 and make him do too much sprinting and injure him again. I don't like how the centres are done. It looks like Farrell's going to be playing. Who plays 13? I don't know. I think they're going to be fairly weak in the centres again, relatively. Could have picked Marchant, they didn't. Could have picked Slade, could have picked the 4-man Northmore, but no, so I really don't like that area of selection. A bit better in the back 3. Arundel's in. I want him to get a start, either on the wing at fullback, wing probably with Stewart starting at fullback. Joe Thokanasiga, Big Joe, I think he hurt his ankle, but I think he's okay, but has he got the agility? Has he got the all-round ability to play at international level, or would he be exposed? That is my fear. He's certainly big enough. He likes to get stuck in. I see him trying to hit a bit harder in the tackle and the ruck, actually. So he's trying, but does he have that agility? Then we've got Eddie's favourite distant relative, George Furbank, must be related. He's in as utility. But then we've got another utility in Max Malin. So I don't think you need both of them. Malin's, I'm not sure he's quite got the pace to play international wing. Johnny May is slowly showing signs of coming back. Is he going to be good enough? We'll see. Watson may well do that in the future. But the big news in the back line there is Caden Murley does get a cap, which is does get selected. Hopefully he gets a cap. Just a great finisher, really good winger. Freeman's injury probably opened the slot. No Hassel Collins again, but I think Murley was the next cab on the rank, but really unlucky for Freeman. Noel there, I still think needs to prove he can do it right at the top end internationally, and Stewart is surely going to be their starting 15. A few injuries, not as many as they could have had actually. It's pretty decent for injuries, although big calls. Alex Donbrandt is out. That's a real shame. He needed to play for me for England. Hopefully he will come back into the Six Nations. Charlie Ewells, his absence has opened up some slots for the likes of Tizard. Freeman would have surely played, so he's a big miss. George Ford still out. Will he come back into it for the World Cup? And another big miss is Jamie George. It looks like they're lining up Cowan Dickey to start. A few other injuries as well. Will Stewart, like I said, would have featured Sam Underhill. But, largely they've got most of their big players fit. I don't really like what they've done in the centres. It looks very light to me, very vulnerable. Back 3 could be really good. Could be some big breakthrough players, the likes of Tizard there. Be interesting to see Coles get in the action. Is Hayes good enough? McGuigan, I think, could have a big impact as well. And, of course, Rapava Ruskin, hopefully he gets a cap. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that squad. Is it good enough? Is it the sort of squad that could take England far in the World Cup? All the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.